everyone, what's going on? It's your girl T.I.E here, which stands for Together Individual Entertainment, T.I.E. Alright, today's story that we have is another history story about Halloween. Now, this one's a little, it's going to be a little longer because of all the history and everything. But it's a good way to get that history lesson in your mind and teach them a little history now and then because of the fact, as you all know, the pandemic has definitely torn apart many things. It has put us in a virtual reality formation. It has shortened staff, especially teachers. So, I think it's kind of good that we should read about the history of Halloween. So this is Halloween, why we celebrate it in the way. So most of the time, I'm not going to be showing inside the book because most of the pages won't have pictures. But still, I'm going to read what is in here. So listen carefully. You'll probably want to take some notes and all the other things above. So let's get into it. All right. Let's get into Chapter 1, Celebrate Halloween. Chapter 1, Celebrate Halloween. Halloween is a time of fun. People decorate their homes with orange and black. Some people hang up cardboard witches and cats. Pumpkins are carved into jack-o'-lanterns. Candles lit up their faces. Children go trick-or-treating and bring home candy. People go home to haunted houses to be scared. Costumes parties are great fun. Some people think for a whole year about what they will. A simple Halloween costume can also be scary. But as you can tell, these costumes are not scary. Superhero, robot, you can be anything you want for Halloween. It's very simple in every direction. And orange and black are not just the only colors for Halloween. There's 4 colors for Halloween. Orange, black, purple, and green. That's another thing. Kindergartners. Basically, kindergarten teachers, as I would like to mention, a little shout out there. If you're teaching the kids colors, you might want to do the holiday colors to teach them these colors. Get them involved about like a scavenger hunt, what is orange, what is black, all kinds of different things that will get them involved for the holiday season. So maybe do a scavenger hunt, like I said, or color something that's orange, or anything specific. For instance, orange, you might want to print out a coloring page, and that is a pumpkin, or maybe a fruit, or something that, resembles the color orange. Either way, those 4 colors, orange, black, green, and purple, are the perfect holiday colors to really get into if you're teaching your kindergartners about colors. So, it's just an option that I'm pointing out there. All right. Okay, so this one doesn't have pictures. Like I said, most of the pages won't have pictures, but let's continue reading. Where for Halloween, some of the costumes are unusual. Some are scary, some are funny. Often prizes for the best costumes are awarded. All right, so the next thing on Chapter 1 is Trick or Treat. Listen carefully. Trick or treat. Children wear costumes to trick or treat. They knock on doors or ring doorbells. When the doors open, the young people yell, "Trick or treat." Originally, if children did not get a treat, they would play a trick. Most people do not play tricks anymore. Almost everyone has treats to give out. Those who do not want to give out treats turn their lights off. This tells trick-or-treaters not to go to that house. The next vocabulary words are jack-o'-lanterns. Definition. Carving jack-o'-lanterns from pumpkins is fun to some people. Want their jack-o'-lanterns to be friendly. Others want them to be scary. Many people give their jack-o'-lanterns jagged teeth. They often cut triangles for their eyes and nose. Vocabulary words. Haunted houses. Definition. Many groups and some families put on haunted houses. They decorate rooms or whole houses. They do it to scare people. People in costumes jump out from closets. Moans, screams, and evil laughter are in the air. Tombstones decorate the yard. A mad scientist workshop can be a part of your Halloween fun. The workshop has all the parts of a fake monster. From his fake eyeballs to his fake toes. It can be gross, but it is fun too. Alright, here's where we get into the best part. History. History about the Halloween spirit. So Chapter 2, the history of Halloween. Halloween is one of the oldest holidays and has been celebrated for thousands of years. Today, it is a time for fun, but long ago, people believed that witches, ghosts, and goblins were real. Another vocabulary, the god of the dead. Definition, the Celts lived in Europe more than 2,500 years ago, aka 2,500 years ago. They worshipped nature. The sun was one of their gods. Long ago, witches were thought of as evil and they were persecuted. Winter was a confusing time for the Celts. They did not understand why it was dark so much of the time. They made up stories to explain why the sun disappeared. One of the stories said that the sun and Samhain fought a battle. Samhain was the god of the dead. Now, that's a definition for you and a vocabulary word. Samhain is spelled S-A-M-H-A-I-N. That is your vocabulary word. And the definition is god of the dead. The sun was lost and was held prisoner during the winter. The Celts believed the winter was the season of death. They thought of Samhain called the dead to walk the earth once a year. Some people believe the souls of the dead were picking out who would die that year. Vocabulary word, fire. Definition, Celts priests were called Druids. The Celts believed the Druids had magical powers. The Druids had a ceremony. In the fall, to help the sun, they built huge fire. The fire was hot like the sun. They thought it would free the sun. The Druids used the fire to frighten away the dead. They wore masks and costumes. The mask would scare the spirits. The costumes would keep the spirits from recognizing people. If the spirits could not recognize the people, they could not pick them to die. Here's another vocabulary words. Roman festivals. The history about the Roman festivals. Definition of what they did. The Romans invaded the Celts land about 2,000 years ago, aka 2,000 years ago. They ruled the Celts for 400 years. The Romans had two celebrations in the fall. One was the harvest festival. During the festival, friends gave each other's apples. The other festival honored the dead. Eventually, the Roman holidays and the Celtic fire holiday became one large festival. Here's another vocabulary for you. All Saints' Day. Definition and history behind it. Listen carefully. In 835, the Roman Catholic Church tried to change the holiday. The church wanted a holiday of its own. Church leaders set aside All Saints' Day to honor their saints who had died. This holy day was also called All Hallows' Day, or Hallowsman's. Now, I don't know where they came up with that little word, but it's, the same thing as we'd say Christmas, except this time they call it Hallowmas. It was celebrated on November 1st, the day before October 31st, was then known as All Hallows. Even eventually, it was called Halloween. They made a little error in the book. It says even. It was supposed to be known as All Hallows Eve, which it was. It was known as All Hallows Eve back in the ancient time days. Chapter 3. Halloween symbols. Certain things remind people of Halloween. Think of a witch or a ghost. Think of a jack-o'-lantern and magic. Think of black and orange, and purple and green. These are symbols of Halloween. Vocabularies. Black and orange. Definition and history. Listen carefully. Black and orange are everywhere at Halloween, especially purple and purple and green. And sometimes white too. Either way. Anyways, witches are usually dressed in black or purple and green because Sanderson sisters, you know what I'm saying. Their cats are black, pumpkins are orange. On ancient times, the colors had meanings. Black stood for death and night, orange stood the witch with her broomstick, and the black cat has long been a symbol of Halloween. For the harvest, orange was also the color of the fire used to keep the demons away. Remember, 4 colors, not 2, 4 for Halloween. Orange, black, purple, green. Alright. Vocabulary, witches, definition and history. Listen carefully. The witch has been a symbol of Halloween for a long time. Witches have often pictured a broomstick and a black cat. Long ago, people believed in witches who had magical powers. They thought witches could cast spells. Witches were not thought of as bad at first, but through the years, the most famous witch trials took place in Salem. Salem, Massachusetts. That's where the history of all this witchcraft and nonsense. But let me tell you something. Real witches don't really exist. Witches do exist, just in their own unique way. And if you're wondering about that ugly warts, green face, and all that stuff, don't believe that. Because most witches, they can be beautiful or whatever as a normal person. Trust me, you'll learn that from Bewitched. It was a TV series and it's a movie, so you might want to watch that and understand that not all witches look like that. Anyways, began to believe that witches were evil. They thought they could cause sicknesses, death, and bad weather. They thought witches could change into animals. People said that witches worshiped the devil. Several times a year, witches would get together. They met in a secret spot deep in the forest. This was called a witches' Sabbath. One of the most important Sabbaths was on Halloween. Many innocent people were killed when they were accused of being witches. There were even witch trials in early America. The most infamous stories about witches are from Salem, Massachusetts. Many innocent women were burned to death during the Salem witch trials in 1692. There are witches today who get together for religious ceremonies, but they are no longer prosecuted. Alright, vocabulary time and definition and history. Vocabularies, cats and broomsticks. Definition and history, listen up. People believe witches turn themselves into cats. They also believed cats had magical powers and could see in the dark because our quiet and independent people thought they were spirits. Many years ago, before they were many bridges, men often carried long poles. They used them to vault over ditches. Sometimes women would use their broomsticks to jump over small streams. It looked like they were flying. This might be the reason people thought that witches flew around on broomsticks. Definition and history along with the vocabulary. So, vocabulary, pumpkins and jack-o'-lantern. History and definition? Listen. Carving pumpkins into jack-o'-lanterns is a Halloween tradition, as you can tell here. Jack-o'-lanterns have a candle inside that lights their faces. Some people hold pumpkin carvings contests. Many people put a jack-o'-lantern in a window or on the front step. A folk tale explains where the jack-o'-lantern came from. It said there was once a man named Jack who tricked the devil. Jack, carving pumpkins for jack-o'-lanterns is a Halloween tradition, and it's been a long time tradition. All right, let's get back into the story of the jack-o'-lantern. And look at that mountain full of pumpkins, everyone. Look at that. That's awesome. All right, before I continue, I want to let you know that I didn't have a chance to go to the Monster Pumpkin Festival this year because I was working this weekend, as you could tell from my, my 2 Kennywood videos or whatever. Anyways, next year, Pittsburgh will hold another Monster Pumpkin Festival where there will be, giant carvings of many kinds of pumpkins, along with a giant pumpkin that broke a world record, and many other things. I don't know where it's going to be held next year. All I know is this past weekend was the Pumpkin Festival, and as always, there could be a different Pumpkin Festival to where you might be, but either way, it's kind of cool cool to have a pumpkin festival now and then in your own little city, town, or whatever you might think. So anyways, let's get back to the story. Got the devil to promise not to take his soul. The devil was angry. When Jack died, the devil made his spirit roam the earth forever. Jack complained to the devil that it was too dark, so the devil gave him a burning coal. Jack put the coal in the turnip because it was so hot. This was the first jack-o'-lantern. It was not until the tradition came to North America that pumpkins were used for jack-o'-lanterns. Pumpkins were easier to carve than turnips. All right, vocabulary, definition, history time. So listen up. So our vocabulary, ghosts, skeletons, and graveyard. Definition and history? Let's read. In ancient times, people were afraid of ghosts and skeletons. Any bad thing that happened was blamed on the spirits of the dead. People believed that the ghosts wandered Earth in search of food and warmth to please them. People left out food and kept fires burning on Halloween. Hungry people ate the food. When they started taking the dishes with the food, the custom stopped. In ancient times, the Druids dressed up to scare away evil spirits. Graveyards were believed to be the home of ghosts. If you met a ghost in a graveyard, it was a warning of death. People believed that ghosts danced in the graveyard on a Halloween. They thought that skeleton rattled their bones. Everyone tries to be scary on Halloween. Now this is what I mean right here. That's not scary. And that's not what witches had. Witches never had a green face. They never had words on or whatever. But it's just makeup. In fact, basically, there is this one YouTube video where you can see behind the scenes and, well, actually, there's many YouTube videos that you can see behind the scenes of how they created the scare actors' makeup and everything. That's one thing I kind of liked about me being a scare actor. I liked having my makeup done by a professional, but I also liked enjoying watching the other scare actors get their makeup done because it was a lesson that I could see how they were doing it and I could see how they were like enjoying their work and so many other things. And there was a sci-fi show called Face Off, which it was a competition where you can do anything with prosthetics. And they had a different challenge each week. And I do remember there was an episode for Monster High to recreate the Monster High girls in real life. So this was just something that I thought was interesting and, you know, something to think about. But believe me, behind the scenes would be kind of cool. Maybe, you know, amusement parks out there, listen to me carefully. If you're watching this video or whatever, if you're an amusement park owner or anything, I want you to take on the subject and the suggestion about having a behind-the-scenes tour, not just for your VIPs or anything. I'm talking about behind the scenes for your school students, for the school students of elementary school. I want you to let them see behind the scenes because it will make them feel less scared and more comfortable seeing what kind of makeup they're getting done, how they are putting it on, what haunt they're going through during the daytime only. Because that way they can actually see that it's not so scary because they walked through it before or whatever. But it's pretty cool that we want to inspire the little generation to, I guess you could say, become a costume designer, a makeup artist, or anything in particular. That would be a great suggestion to do for school field trips, to bring in behind the scenes of an amusement park scare or whatever, and watch them get their makeup done or anything. I mean, that would be so cool. Okay, so anyways, let's get back to the story. Today, people dress up like ghosts and skeletons on Halloween. Yards are decorated with tombstones. It is all for fun. All right. Vocabulary, magic, definition of history. Let's read. Listen carefully, everyone. All right. Vocabulary, magic, definition of history. Magic fits in with the mystery of Halloween. Harry Houdini was once of the most famous magicians of all time. He could escape from prisons, he could get out of handcuffs and locked suitcases, even when they were thrown into the lake. He did a trick that made it look like he could walk through walls, Houdini died on Halloween in 1926. Woo! That's almost sounding like a curse right there. If he died on Halloween, maybe that's a celebration right there that anybody can create. Maybe we want to make not just have a Halloween festival on Halloween, but also have a Houdini night in honor of him. Because Houdini, magic, you get the concept right there for Halloween. You know what I mean. Anyways, his death is observed by many magicians. October 31st is National Magic Day. Oh, okay. So basically, it's sort of like a Houdini Day, but still, in my case, we should have a Houdini Day or whatever instead of magic. Well, you know what I mean. All right. Vocabularies, costume and mask. Definition and history. Let's read, and you better listen carefully. Take notes, everyone. I hope you've been taking notes while I've been reading. So, here we go. Costume and masks were once used to try to scare away ghosts and spirits. People thought that ugly masks would make the demons think that the spirit wearing the mask was a demon too. That the way the demon would be scared of them. People danced around a fire because they thought light and the color red chased away spirits. Eventually, children dressed up as ghosts, witches, and demons to scare their neighbors. A few decades ago, children started playing tricks on their neighbors. If they did not get a treat, this was the beginning of a modern trick or treat. Chapter 4. Trick or treat. Trick or treating has a long history. It started with the Roman harvest festivals when people gave apples to their friends. There started the tradition of giving and getting treats on Halloween. Irish immigrants brought many of their favorite Halloween customs with them of North America in the 19th century. They played games and pranks. They also brought the idea of turnip jack-o'-lantern. Trick-or-treaters get ready for a night of candy collecting. That's correct right there. Halloween tricks became popular. People would find chairs in trees and wagons on top of barns. The people playing the tricks thought they were funny, but some of the tricks hurt people. That made Halloween less fun. So the customs changed. People wanted Halloween to be a good time. Children stopped playing tricks, and most everyone gave out treats. Okay. Vocabulary time. Trick or treat for UNICEF. Definition and history. Let's read. Take notes. In 1950, a new Halloween custom began. Members of a youth group in Philadelphia collected money for the poor, children all around the world, when they went trick-or-treating. They carried empty milk cartons and asked for money. They collected $17. The money was given to UNICEF, the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. UNICEF helps some children trick-or-treat for UNICEF and collect money for the poor children of the world. You know what? That's what one of the episodes of Bewitched did. They showed the UNICEF program as they were trick-or-treating while Samantha's husband, Darren, was cursed by, of course, Samantha's mom and Dora because, of course, they were made fun of thinking that they were, pointy noses, warts and all. Trust me. That's not the way it is, people. Witches never had that, okay? Witches might be among us today, but they will look like normal people. Trust me. Never judge a book by its cover, people. Never judge a book by its cover until you get to know it. Or read it in this case. And that's what I'm doing with this book. All right, let's continue. Over the world who are hungry, poor, or sick, so many children were trick-or-treating for UNICEF. U.S. President Lyndon Johnson officially recognized the Trick-or-Treat for UNICEF program in 1967. Today, children who are trick-or-treating for UNICEF carry special cartons. All right, vocabularies. Keeping Halloween safe. Definition and history. Parents now tell their children to look over their treats. They should not eat anything that is not wrapped. Razor blades and needles have been stuck in unwrapped treats. Some treats have also been poisoned. Children should trick or treat only in groups. They should go only to houses they know. They should be careful when crossing streets or running down sidewalks. Costumes should be safe. They should be fireproof. Make sure the costume is reflective or wear reflective tape. Children should be sure they do not trip over their costumes. A mask is an important part of the Halloween costume. Chapter 5. Get ready for Halloween. You can do many things to prepare for Halloween. You can make your own costume and mask. You can carve a jack-o'-lantern. You can even create your own haunted house. All right, definitions, and all that other stuff. Vocabulary time. How to make a costume. Definition history. Do you want to dress like a pirate? Tie a bandana around your head. Put a sash around your waist. Wear an old torn cloak. Jack-o'-lanterns can be funny, scary, or happy. Then draw a sword on a long piece of cardboard. Cut it out carefully with scissors. Wrap it with aluminum foil. You can make an eye patch with black construction paper and a string. Becoming a ghost is simple too. Find an old sheet and cut eye holes in it. Put the sheet over your head. Line up your eyes with the eye holes. Moan loudly. You can even become a scarecrow for the head. Crumple a brown paper bag. Cut out eyes. An air-filled jack-o'-lantern guards a pumpkin patch. Yeah, that's mostly sometimes the biggest thing right there. They always have a huge jack-o'-lantern to guard their pumpkin patches in. All right, let's continue. And a mouth, cut strips with another paper bag for the hair. Glue them to the bag. Wear your old clothes, stuff straw or more paper strips into your sleeves, and paint legs. The end should stick out. Tie your sleeves and pant legs with string. This will keep the straw from falling out. Put on old hat. Use your imagination to think of other characters. Trick-or-treating is extra fun. If you wear a costume you have made yourself. All right, vocabulary and definition time. Vocabulary, how to make a mask. Definition, history, how to make a mask. Masks can be made from paper or bags. Use colored yarn for hair. Cut out funny eyes. Use crayons to draw silly designs on the mask. Paper plates also make good masks. Cut out eyes, a mouth, and a place for your nose. Glue or tape a paper cup over your nose hole. Draw designs on your mask. Poke 2 holes near the edge of the plate. Tie a string or ribbon through the holes. Put the mask on your face. Tie the string behind your head. How to carve a pumpkin. That's your vocabulary and definition. Here's how to carve a pumpkin. First, draw your face you want on the pumpkin. Your jack-o'-lantern can be scary, happy, or goofy. Use a knife to cut a hole around the stem of the pumpkin. Children should ask for help from an adult. Make the hole big enough to fit your hand inside. Scoop out the pulp and seeds with heavy spoon. Carve out the eyes, nose, and mouth. When the inside is clean and the face carved, find a candle, light the candles, and let some of the wax drip to the bottom of the pumpkin. Stick the bottom of your candle into the hot wax. The wax will get hard and the candle will stay there without falling over. Put your jack-o'-lantern where the people walking by will see it. On the front porch or in the window. It's a good place to save the pumpkin seeds. Wash them and let them dry. Preheat the oven to 325 degrees. Lightly coat the seeds with melted butter or oil. Sprinkle them with salt. Spread the baking dish. Bake for 25 minutes or until the seeds are golden brown. Use your imagination to think of costumes. The Kelsaw dent came out on Halloween. If you do not want to carve a pumpkin, you can paint a face on the outside. You can glue macaroni or seeds on it for a funny look. All right, vocabulary time. Have to haunt your house. Definition and all that other stuff. Well, instructions actually, but still. You can make a home a spooky place. Invite your friends over for a party. Make invitations with black paper. Draw pictures of ghosts and monsters on them. Make your house scary. Put black construction paper over the windows to make a room dark. Hang black threads from the ceiling. When the lights are out, the threads feel like cobwebs. Over the furniture with old sheets, a chair can look like a lumpy ghost. A red light bulb. Scary costumes and scary sounds add to Halloween fun. Now, just so you know, these 2 movies, the old Mummy Mummy movie and the old Dracula movie is something that you guys can see on Svengoolie. It's not that scary, I assure you. Black and white films back in the 1950s or something like that, they're not that scary. They are basically just old-fashioned scare tactics. I mean, after all, you can't really see digitalized. This was like all before computerization, everyone. So basically, you might want to start considering, like, if you were raised in the oldies or whatever, maybe you can try and get your children to like the oldies too. Because that's what happened to me. I started with the first movie that I ever watched when I was a toddler was a musical. And it involved our Pittsburgh native, which was Gene Kelly in Singing in the Rain. That was the first movie I ever saw. And ever since then, I have been watching the silent version of Phantom of the Opera. I've been watching black and white movies. I've been watching some of the colored movies, which was one of them I was seeing, which was Mr. Chicken and Mr. Ghost or something like that with Don Knotts in it or something like that. But anyways, let's get into our story again. Can make scary shadows, make tombstones out of white and cardboard. Set them around the room, make a tape of scary music, rattle chains, scream, moan, and laugh, an evil laugh, howl like a wolf. You can buy sound effects recording at stores or check in with your local library. They might have a recording you can borrow. You have your friends and family help you. They can dress in costumes and jump out. Some farms grow hundreds of pumpkins just like on Halloween, but these are the big ones. There's no way you can get them home unless you got a big barrel or if there's like an empty thing going on. All right. Closets or corners. Turn off the lights. In the dark, everything seems scarier. How to scare your friends. Instructions? Set up a mad scientist workshop to scare people. Make monster parts from food or other things around your house. You can trick your friends into thinking a handful of cooked spaghetti is a monster brain. A bowl of peeled grapes feels like cold eyeballs. An old mop feels like witch's hair, but a piece of fur inside a shoe box saying that it is your pet rat. Everybody will yell when they touch it. Broken pretzels feel like teeth. Say that a bowl of Jell-O is monster guts. But cutting up slimy hot dogs for toes, maybe you can think of some more monster parts. Have people touch your monster parts without being able to see them? Put the parts in boxes with holes in the top. Keep the room dark. How to make Halloween great. Most Halloweens have a serious side. Thanksgiving is for giving thanks. Christmas celebrates the birth of Jesus. 4th of July celebrates the beginning of a country. But Halloween has no serious side. People celebrate it because it is fun. Have a great time. Tell ghost stories. Play games. Scare your friends. Scare yourself. Have fun. Children, have fun and on Halloween. All right. Now we're getting to the serious part about vocabulary and definition. So glossary time. Take notes, everyone. Take notes about this part. So, simple words. Celts. Ancient European people. Ceremony. Formal act performed in honor of celebration of a special occasion. Folktale. A legend handed down by word of mouth. Goblin. Ugly, human-like evil spirit. Infamous. Having a bad reputation. Magician, entertainer who performs trick. Symbol, something that stands for another thing. Tradition, customs, belief, and ceremonies handed down from generation to generation. Vault, to jump over objects or ditches aided by a long pole. All right. So you ever want to learn more about this whole Halloween thing, I'm giving you a few suggestions about what other books are out there. So there's this book called Witches, Pumpkins, and Grinning Ghosts by Edna Barth. Halloween Fun by Judith Hoffman Corwin. All Around Pumpkin Book. Marjorie Kyler. How to Haunt a House for Halloween. Robert Friedhofer, Halloween, Joyce K. Kessel, Halloween, Lillian Patterson, How to Haunt a House, Dan Wachowski. And if you ever want to know about UNICEF, you could just find them online or something, because this is an old book right here. It's, I think it's from, actually, I don't know what year this is from. So basically, I'm just saying, type in UNICEF, with all of them have to be capitalized, by the way. So all the letters that's capitalized is UNICEF. So if you ever want to find them online and know what to do, go ahead. Alright, so that was our Halloween story of the day. And I cannot wait to get into more Halloween stories like this, full of history, fun, children's stories, and so forth and so forth. So, in the meantime, this is T.I.E saying, Happy Halloween, everyone! And I'm sorry if it took so long, alright? So, have fun! Bye!